Hey guys, and welcome to my Chernobylite review. Radiation, monsters, sci-fi, and evil dolls. What is Chernobylite? Well, it's a survival horror with emphasis on survival. You play as Igor Khymynyuk, a nuclear physicist who worked at the Chernobyl power plant on the day the nuclear reactor exploded. You survived. Your main goal in Chernobylite is to get into the power plant and figure out what happened to your fiancée Tatiana on that day. In order to do that, you're going to need to build up a home base, gather a team of companions, get more information about the Chernobylite disaster that happened 30 years ago. Chernobylite is made by Polish developer Farm 51. They're a small group who previously made games like Get Even and Painkiller. They also previously worked on a VR project called Chernobyl VR Project, which I also highly suggest you check out. Chernobylite is set in the former Soviet Union in the city of Pripyat, the actual location of the Chernobyl disaster that happened in real life. Members of the Farm 51 team remember the day the disaster happened. They wanted to bring the story of Chernobyl to life. Chernobylite, the game, takes place in the nuclear fallout exclusion zone surrounding this area. Chernobylite was a successful Kickstarter from 2019, which raised over $200,000. Now would be a really good time to talk about the absolutely amazing feat that Farm 51 has accomplished with Chernobylite's historically accurate location brought into a video game. The team actually went to Chernobyl to deal with insane working conditions and radiation, and used various modern video techniques to create an actual, real 3D visual representation of Chernobyl. They used photogrammetry. This is a really popular technique in VR games, but it's not utilized enough in non-VR games. Photogrammetry basically means stitching together thousands of photos and other data to create realistic 3D models. Farm 51 used photogrammetry to bring you a completely accurate representation of a place few people on Earth have been to, Chernobyl. I can't stress enough how impressive, eerie, and haunting it is to see these locations that are real-life abandoned places show up in game completely accurately. I've included some images here so you can see exactly what I mean. It might be hard to tell what is from the game and what is real. It's truly outstanding work, and I wanted to highlight it a bit here before we get into it. Each day in Chernobylite, you go through the same experience. You wake up in your warehouse. You will go up to the command center area. Along the way, the radio or your companions will inform you of a potentially important event happening in the excursion zone. You then have to assign yourself and your companions to the various quests you have available. You will then start your daily mission at the quest location you picked. There are 6 main different locations that you'll visit over the course of Chernobylite: Moscow Eye, Red Forest, Pripyat Port, Kopachi, Pripyat Central, and your warehouse base. Again, all of these are real locations that are located in the actual Chernobyl excursion zone. Like most open world games, you can go wherever you want and do whatever you want. There are countless buildings on the map that are not important to the main mission, and you can go and explore them. Many will have secrets. There will be supplies pretty much everywhere you look to gather. There's also NPCs to meet and trade with. The main idea is to be targeting the green question marks on the map. These will be important locations that have some kind of event that will help you progress the story along. Each location does not stay the same through the entire experience though. Although the map layout is the same, the more decisions you make, the more hazards will appear. This allows a natural leveling and difficulty increase. For an example, an area you could walk through before will have more radiation in it the next time you visit, and it's now not accessible. Monsters are going to spawn in certain spots, and more NAR soldiers will be doing a lot more patrols. As the layout of the map remains the same, you will get familiar with traveling around them. This isn't a bad thing in my opinion. It still is difficult to navigate the rough terrain and figure out where you need to be going, sometimes almost too much. I would occasionally get stuck on a tree on the ground or in some barely visible rock. There is almost a puzzle-solving element to try and figure out how to get to that question mark location you need to be getting to. Sometimes you have to think outside the box and what might be a different way of getting up to the next floor or rock ledge. When you encounter an enemy, you have a choice of running away, using stealth to kill them, or attacking with guns. Each playstyle has different equipment and risks. Frequently, you will be overwhelmed by attackers. The top right corner of the screen will show if you are still in the line of sight and they are actively attacking you. If you get away, eventually they will turn to searcher mode. This can be quite a long time. If you have no health, are almost dead, no healing, that 2-minute plus countdown is a long time. Frequently, they will find you. Although combat is included in the game, it's not the core point in my opinion. I found stealth kills if needed and avoiding confrontation altogether to be much more effective. When you are done with the daily mission and exploring, you get Igor to pull out your trusty portal gun and teleport back to the main base no matter where you are. Back in the base, you will start the evening portion of your day. You will see who was successful with their mission and what resources they gathered. This is also where food distribution. Food distribution is more choices about who you want to reward. Does everybody get equal treatment? What if you're low on food because you failed a few times? Decisions will need to be made depending on the choices you pick. The characters are going to be affected. After food distribution, you then have the ability to improve your base, weapons, and armor. Don't forget about doing this on your companions too. There's an entire base building crafting experience here that is very similar to Fallout 4. You can spend a lot of time making a home or just drop items wherever. You will want to keep focusing on improving your base with machines that will cause you to level up. This unlocks new items, weapons, and upgrade. Without spending time on this, you will start having a very difficult time on your daily quests. Training is also done during the evening. Any companions who have joined your team will offer training for various skill points you receive from leveling up. These skills can be things like sneaking better, using weapons better, or inventory spots. Finally, you will head to your room for the night, and there you will probably want to take a moment to browse the clues that you have gathered in the mystery so far. If you have enough clues, you get to enter a virtual reality world that shows you the past. If you don't have enough clues for the night, you will just go to sleep. Rinse and repeat this over and over again, hopefully progressing along in the story each night. For far too long, video games have used certain things to add challenges to the game you are playing. Move extremely slowly, make saving difficult, or resources you need are very difficult to find. Chenobylite does not use the game itself as a challenge. You can run as much as you want, although you will hear Igor panting. Save pretty much any time, and resources are just a scan away. Your handheld scanner is pretty neat. Not only does this tell you when you're walking into a radioactive area, surprise, surprise, there's many, but it also allows you to scan the immediate area around you and find items that you will need to pick up to build in your base and survive. I found this to be an extremely good game mechanic. It created an open world environment and allowed me to choose which items I was targeting on my scanner and focus on those in the area. Low on much needed healing herbs, I wasn't aimlessly wandering around trying to magically find the items. I got into a habit of loading up a world, pulling out my scanner, and scanning constantly. I was constantly picking things up and hunting for them. The choice is yours, though. You get to pick how you want to play Chernobylite, and there are many choices. Another one of the core parts of Chenobylite is choosing how to deal with your companions. Your companions are all extremely eccentric characters with very unique and different personalities. As you progress through the game, you will be presented with core decisions that impact future events. Your companions will pipe up and let you know exactly how they feel about the decision you're going to make. The interesting part of this is that with almost every decision, you will make someone happy and someone else quite upset. Of course, you also have your own individual option on what you actually want to be doing here and how you want to play. This presents an interesting decision for you. Do you choose something that might go against what you actually want to do, but it's going to upset a specific companion? If a companion becomes too upset, they will leave your company, and you need to keep all these people together to have your best shot at rescuing Tatiana and completing the heist. Some of these decisions I made haunted me because I felt that they were the wrong decisions, and I tried to appease a companion, and that's why I chose it. It was an interesting experience for a video game. How about a do-over? The developers of the game have given another amazing mechanic that allows you to not have to replay the entire game again to experience things differently. Because the game is set in a very sci-fi, futuristic world, you have the ability to switch the key moments and choices you make at will. Well, at the cost of some materials you collected after you die, of course, but it's doable. If there's a decision that you feel very strongly you might have got wrong, with a few steps and resources, you can kind of go back in time and change any of those major decisions. It's a delicate dance to keep all these eccentric personalities living together in one tiny warehouse. This do-over memory makes it a challenge in the story itself, not things like movement or how far away the save point is. What happens when you die in Chernobylite? If you die on a quest, you will fail that quest for the day. You can do it again tomorrow, but you need to play out the death experience depending on how you die. You can avoid death on each trip by creating an adrenaline shot, and I highly recommend having an adrenaline shot at all times to allow you to escape a bad situation. You're gonna get caught in many. There's basically 3 ways to die in Chernobylite: being killed by an NAR soldier, monsters, and pretty much everything else. Falling, radiation, other things. If the NAR is the one who killed you, you will be taken prisoner back to their prison compound. Eventually you will escape, and this allows you to work through the base and get your gear back so you can get out of there. You can also do certain actions in the game will allow you to get your stuff back right away. Although the prison section is not very difficult, it is annoying that you didn't finish your last mission. You're going to have to navigate through the prison area. You're spending more time to just be right back where you are that morning. I became much more careful as I moved through the game, realizing that death was just kind of wasting my time. If the NAR is not what kills you, so you get killed by monsters or everything else, you're going to be transported to the choice-making world. Unfortunately, you're also going to lose several random items that you were carrying. Maybe even that gun you spent all that time putting all those upgrades on that kills absolutely everything because you put so much into it. Make sure you have an adrenaline shot so you don't lose that gun. Trust me. Also of note, in the late game at some point you might want to go here without dying and losing your in-game items, so there's a base building item that you can develop for that purpose. If you find yourself dying a lot, you probably need to upgrade your weapons and armor. In order to do that, you need to have gathered a lot of resources, so spend time on leveling up, spend time collecting resources, and spend time upgrading Igor. Who will enjoy Chernobylite? The game is classified as survival horror, but there really are so many different genres mixed into this game. RPG, adventure, action, base building, roguelike. Truly, it's absolutely astonishing what Chernobylite has pulled this off somehow. Not only does it work, but it is also a truly phenomenal experience with each choice you make playing off of others. There are quite a few game influences in here, including Fallout, Dishonored, Silent Hill, and of course, it's also set in Chernobyl, Stalker. Members of Farm 51 come from the Stalker game development team, so the influence is obviously felt here. If you like any of these games, you will probably like Chernobylite. I did not come across any bugs through my entire playthrough. I cannot stress enough how absolutely amazing this is. I review a lot of video games, and without fail, there are usually some pretty major flaws, glitches, problems, especially on that first release. I found none in Chernobylite. That probably has something to do with the fact that they've had it in beta for well over a year now with constant slow releases. People have been playtesting this whole time, pointing out bugs and issues that get fixed before this final release. Obviously, this model works, and I hope more companies take note and follow it in the future. As you can see, there is a lot going on in this game. Ultimately, how you choose to play is up to you. What do you want to focus on? Quests, missions, resource gathering, base building, team management, training. You're eventually going to have to do all of the above. I thoroughly enjoyed all parts of Chernobylite. I replayed the story to get a perfect score, and I spent over 45 hours in-game enjoying the world. The fact that so many different genres of game meshed into one magnificent masterpiece is something very impressive in itself. On top of that, the team used actual photogrammetry of Chernobyl to truly put you in the actual haunting environment of Chernobyl. Mix in some interesting game mechanics, a crazy cast of characters, and some of the best voice acting I've heard in a while. Finish it off with the fact that there were no bugs in my playthrough. I can't give Chernobylite enough credit for what they have accomplished. A very solid 5 out of 5, without question. All right, and that wraps up my Chernobylite review.